Documenting my 20s or documenting my life cinematically is a pretty popular niche on YouTube right now. If you want to jump on that train like I'm trying, you need this lens as a must-have in your kit. Not necessarily the exact same lens that I have right now, but...
Hi, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to clarify that even though this is my favorite lens, I would not recommend it to everyone. You'll find out in the pros and cons of this video section. So right now, back to the video.
Alright, so the goal for today is that I'll try to film everything I can on this lens and show you what's possible, what kind of shots you can get. For a lens to document your life cinematically every day, there are a few non-negotiables. 3 in my opinion. 1, the focal length has to be 20 mm or wider. 2, max aperture there can be is f2.8. And 3rd, and likely the most important one, it has to be fun to use, because no matter how good or bad or expensive or cheap your gear is, if you're not having fun using it, none of this matters. And that lens for me is 15 to 35 f2.8 Canon R series lens. It's raining and freezing right now, so let me take this inside. This is so wide I cannot even carry it with my one hand.
Okay, reason number 1. Why anything that is tighter than 20 mm does not work. Over the past few years, I've gone through 2 camera bodies and a handful of lenses. I started with this one, Canon 200D, with the kit lens of 18 to 55 millimeters. Now 18 millimeter definitely is a wide field of view, but there's a caveat. My Canon 200D is a crop censored camera. What does that mean? That means on an 18 mm field of view, it applies 1.6 times magnification, which truly converts this 18 to 55 lens to somewhat 28 to 88 millimeter lens. That defeats my rule number 1 of something under 20, and it also defeats my rule number 2, aperture of 2.8 or more. If I'm not wrong, I haven't used this lens or camera in a while, but I think the aperture, the lowest aperture is 4.5. So both rules broken, gotta go. Reason number 2, why an aperture which is above 2.8 number does not work. Back in 2024, I think, yes, I switched from my Canon 200D to what I'm shooting on right now, Canon R6, which is a full frame camera. The kit lens I got with it is 24 mm to 105 mm. While zooming all the way until 105 is definitely handy, this lens already breaks my rule number 1. 24 is already tighter than 20. It also breaks my rule number 2, which is of aperture, because this one starts at f4 and above. Let me explain. Let me break this down. Aperture lets the light in. Meaning, the lower the number, the more your sensor can let the light in from outside. The higher the f-stop number, meaning lesser the light will come. Worst thing about this than only just starting at f4, the more you zoom in, the f-stop changes from f4 to 7 or 8, which is practically blind. In any low light conditions, I just cannot use this lens. Better, let me demonstrate to you. I'll switch this lens right now. So this is what 24 millimeter looks like at f4, because that's the lowest it can go. To compensate now, we need to bump up our ISO at 800 now. There we go. And if I step back, and I have to move my lights now to adjust, but this is the field of view. You can already see how cropped or tight it feels like at 24 at f24 millimeters, f4 and ISO 800. Now again, I'll stay right where I am. Let's change to this hefty. But my favorite, 15 to 35, and see the change. Voila. Look at the space out there. Look at the space. I can come near. F4, we can bring it down to f2.8. You can already see how it's becoming brighter. And now to compensate, we can bring down our ISO just 200. Lower the ISO means lower the digital noise. Higher the aperture means more the light is coming in. Win-win situation. This lens is goated. I rest my case.
Alright, I have stepped out one more time because I really want to show you guys the versatility of this lens. All the reasons I just mentioned are what led to the purchase of this lens. Now, let me show you what this lens can actually do. So let's start with the pros. As you can see at 15mm, this lens is super wide. You can actually see an airplane landing behind me right now. How cool is that? Right. Also in the storytelling world, there's this thing that as a viewer, that is you need to be able to see the subject or the character, as in me, to be able to interact around the world. Which also leads me to the second pro of this lens. You can handheld it. Right now I'm holding this lens at an arm's length, and you can still see pretty good amount of surrounding around me because it's at 15mm. Awesome. Let me show you what happens at 20. So this is 20mm. People say that this is the most they would accept in a wide lens because this is already tight enough. And if you go beyond, let's say 24, nah, this doesn't work, and anything beyond that is nope, too tight. So back to 15. Third and the last pro on my list is, if you see, while I was zooming in, the light didn't flicker. Why? Because this lens is f2.8 constant, and that is a lifesaver, especially during low light situations. At 15 all the way to 35, the f stop, that is your aperture stop that lets the light in, stays constant at f2.8. That's freaking amazing. Oh my goodness. This took me at least 10 tries to do it in one go. I did it. However, this lens does come with a few cons. So let me tell you those right here. This is a massive lens because it's not only at 15mm, but it's also 15 to 35 all the way zoom lens. Number two, this whole setup does get heavy. Now I'll put it in the screen somewhere here, how much does the lens itself weigh and how much my camera, and the combination of both of them. Hand holding this setup all day is something to think about because it's not easy. Your arm can get sore very easily. Third and the last con for this one is it's freaking expensive. You can see here that my primary shooter is Canon, and pretty much all my life I have been a Canon shooter, so this investment made sense for me because I was in it for the long run, and having this lens in my kit right now means I have so much versatility, so much flexibility, and the cons that it comes with, I'm okay with that. By the way, this whole setup, the Canon R6 body and this 15 to 35 f2.8 lens, is a second-hand purchase for me. It took a long time, it took a lot of patience for me to just wait and invest in something that made sense to me, and I also save a lot by going second-hand, and I'm quite happy with that. Alright, so we're coming to the end of this video, so I really hope that you found this helpful. If you have any questions, let it be about this camera, the lens, the setup, or anything about me, drop them down in the comments below. If you made this far, because not a lot of people would make to the end of the videos, I would like to just share something, if I may. I've been thinking to just like say it out loud in here on this platform, what are my desires, what are my goals, what are my ambitions, because I want to put them out as manifestations. So one of the things I'm working towards is 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Hopefully by the end of 2026, who knows? If you're here, I really appreciate you. Thank you. Consider subscribing if you haven't. Last. Okay, I'm blabbering a lot at this point. I really don't want to do this alone. I really don't think YouTube is a journey that can be done alone, because over the years, if I collected any wisdom from all the YouTubers, my favorite YouTubers out there is that the community, the friendship, the relationship that you make out of this thing is the best thing ever. So yeah, consider subscribing, join the community, comment, let's hang, DM me, message me, and I'll see you in the next video.